Hello and welcome to AgriPatent. I hope you've read the text, and now we will go into the technical details in this video. This is what we are currently selling on Etsy. It consists of two main parts. The top part is the growing medium container with the aeration holes. The lower part is the liquid reservoir, and in between them, we have the liquid movement device, including the tube. This is not a prototype. It is a final product, ready for sale. Please do not refer to it as a prototype. The AgriPatent system has been tested many times. It is proven, it is successful, and it is ready for the market. During this video, please do not pay attention to the measurements and sizes of the parts. I will provide a document called Measurement with all the sizes and specifications for each part. This is an AgriPatent pot. Here is the liquid movement device, the liquid reservoir, and this is the tube of the liquid movement device. This is the container. I buy it ready-made from shops, already with the holes and the aeration holes. It costs around £2.50, which is less than $4. This is the pot. What I do is buy the container and drill a hole in it. I also drill a hole in the liquid reservoir. Then I connect the two using the tube of the liquid movement device. After that, I glue them together and wait one day for it to fully cure. It's a bit of a primitive method, but this is what I'm doing at the moment. This is a very basic pot. What I am doing is simply changing the color of the container and using different indoor or outdoor plants. It is just repetition. From the outside, they are exactly the same. Now you can see the limitation of the current design and why I need a designer to improve it significantly, creating many variations, more colors, and completely different designs. At the moment, I am limited to what I can find on the market. Ready-made containers with aeration holes and a liquid reservoir, which I glue together in a simple way. And this is what I am currently selling on Etsy. Before we move to the importance of the aeration holes, you need to understand something about this invention. Unfortunately, when people hear the term self-watering, they automatically think of wicking. This is a common misunderstanding. This invention is not wicking, and it has nothing to do with wicking. It is also not water culture, where the roots sit or dangle in water. This is something completely different. It is a new approach, and it is efficient enough to support even a tree. If we work together, you may face this issue. People may try to dismiss or misunderstand what you are designing. They might say, we already have this, because in their mind, self-watering simply means wicking. It's similar to how some people think the internet is only Facebook. When you say internet, they respond, yes, Facebook. Their understanding is limited to one concept, and this is the same challenge here. For many people, self-watering means wicking, and you will need to clearly explain the difference and the importance of this invention. Now we are speaking about the importance of the aeration holes. As you can see in this design, there are many small aeration holes, and this is perfect for this configuration. The problem with wicking systems is that the amount of water delivered to the plant is very limited. Because of that, you cannot afford proper aeration to the roots. That is why there are no aeration holes in typical wicking designs. The water is barely enough for the plant, and there is no real aeration. On the other hand, with the AgriPatent method, there is a sufficient and robust supply of water, which allows you to provide both water and air to the plant at the same time. For this reason, aeration holes in the growing medium container are essential. If it is difficult to include many holes in the design, there is another option. As you can see here, this is a fishbowl with no holes. In this case, I create 4 holes at the base of the growing medium container. So a minimum of 4 holes at the base is required, in addition to the hole for the liquid movement device. Aeration holes are not optional, they are necessary. Without them, water will stagnate and the plant will die. You can see these are the 3 parts of the AgriPatent pot: the growing medium container, the liquid reservoir, and the tube for the liquid movement device. I am asking you to redesign this into 2 main pieces, an upper piece and a lower piece. The lower piece is the liquid reservoir, made as one single piece. The upper piece has 2 possible options. Option 1, ideally, the upper piece should combine 3 parts into one single piece: the growing medium container, the lid, and the tube of the liquid movement device. If that is difficult, then option 2 is to make the upper piece from 2 parts only: the growing medium container and the lid combined into one piece, with a hole for the liquid movement device. In this case, I will create and insert the tube myself. If you decide to go with the ideal option, where all 3 parts are combined into one piece, then ideally the tube rod should extend about 2 centimeters inside the growing medium container, if you can do that. These are 2 types of liquid reservoirs. The first one, the smaller glass version, is a little more expensive and uses a press-fit mechanism. The second one is clear plastic with a lid, and it uses a screw mechanism. Please try to choose the screw mechanism if the structure is stable enough. If the pot or the reservoir has an irregular shape, then use the press-fit mechanism instead. You need to keep in mind that people will usually lift the plant by holding the growing medium container, while the lower part still contains water and adds weight. So in general, the best option is the screw mechanism. If that is too difficult, or if the shape is irregular, then go with the press-fit mechanism. This is the most beautiful and successful pot I have made. It is made of glass with colorful stones as the growing medium. As you can see, it is very successful. The roots of the plant, this is a ZZ plant, are healthy, and the plant is clearly thriving. However, this pot is not for sale, and it is not listed on Etsy. The reason is simple. It becomes dirty and unattractive over time. It is made as one single piece, so I cannot open the liquid reservoir to clean it. That is why I need a 2-piece AgriPatent pot. A single-piece design is not practical. No matter how beautiful it looks, it is not a successful design if it cannot be cleaned. This is another example of a well-designed and beautiful pot. The plant is thriving, but it is also not for sale. It is made from 2 main parts, but within the upper section, there are 3 elements combined into one: the growing medium container, the partition wall, and the tube. The problem with this design is that I cannot clean it. The opening of the liquid reservoir is too small. That is why it is a failure and not suitable for sale. When you design the liquid reservoir, the main priority is cleaning. You must be able to put your hand inside and clean it properly. The most important part is the size of the opening. This is another example of a failed design. The plant is thriving, and the pot is beautiful and elegant. It is made from 2 pieces, and I can easily put my hand inside to clean it. The opening is large enough, so from a cleaning point of view, it is excellent. So why is it not on Etsy? Why is it not for sale? Because I bought the growing medium container from one shop and the liquid reservoir from another shop. After planting it and seeing that it works, I lost track of where I sourced these parts. As a result, I cannot reproduce this design consistently. And that is the problem. If I offer a product in my shop, I need to be able to supply it consistently, at least 10 units of the same design. Without consistency, I cannot offer it for sale. We need to speak about the optimal liquid reservoir. We have already spoken about cleaning, which is very important. You must be able to clean it easily, and it should be made as a separate piece. The second issue is algae growth. As you can see, I add color to the water. This is just tap water. There is nothing special about it. I add color for 2 reasons. First, for aesthetic purposes to make it more attractive. Second, by adding color, I reduce the amount of light entering the liquid reservoir, which helps limit the growth of algae inside it. Another option is to use tinted or stained glass. This also improves the appearance and reduces algae growth inside the liquid reservoir. There are other examples of liquid reservoirs. Look at them, how beautiful they are. Stained glass, beautiful colors, elegant designs. But I still cannot use them. Why? Because the opening is too small and I cannot clean them. That is the main issue. This is another example, a beautiful heart-shaped liquid reservoir. I'm showing you this to inspire you. It has stained glass, a beautiful color, and an attractive shape. But again, I cannot use it. I cannot apply a screw mechanism or a press-fit system to it. That is why I need a designer to create a custom pot for me. Something practical, functional, and consistent for production. Some of you may ask why I'm focusing on this design and why I don't simply take something already available on the market and modify it into an AgriPatent pot. These are two examples. I bought both of them from Amazon. They cost around 10 to 15 pounds. They look nice and attractive at first, but once I modify them, the result is not suitable. This one is plastic. It is very small, and after creating the hole and adding the liquid reservoir, it becomes unattractive and impractical. This one is porcelain. It is very difficult to drill, and if I try to make a hole in the growing medium container, it will most likely break. So the answer is simple. These products may look good initially, but they are not suitable for this system. They are too small, difficult to modify, and the final result is not acceptable. That is why modifying existing products like these is not a viable solution. Another important point about the liquid reservoir. As you can see in this example, there is an elevation in the middle. When the tube of the liquid movement device is inserted, it touches the center of the reservoir. What happens is that people think there is water available for the plant, but in reality, the center is raised and the water sits only around the edges. As a result, the plant cannot access this water properly. The owner believes there is water in the reservoir, but it is not being used. The water then stagnates, and over time it can ferment and decay. For this reason, the reservoir must be flat from the inside and flat from the outside, with no elevation in the middle. It may seem like a small detail, but it is very important. Best design for the liquid reservoir. As you can see in these examples, especially this one, the liquid reservoir is too small compared to the growing medium container. The upper part is much larger than the base, which makes the design unstable and not visually balanced. It can easily tip over. In the other example, it is more stable, but it is too tall and too vertical. The ideal design is to focus on the width of the liquid reservoir. It should be wide and relatively short. Our goal is to sell these for restaurants and hotels, so the design should not be too tall. The plant itself already adds height, so we should keep the pot, especially the liquid reservoir, as wide as possible. This improves stability, increases water capacity, and enhances the overall aesthetic. A wider and shorter reservoir is more practical, more stable, and more visually appealing. The shelf designs. We are not speaking about new designs. These are already existing in the market, and they are very successful. This is the first example, a conical vase. As I mentioned before, I cannot sell it because it is made as a single piece. The same applies to this one. It is very beautiful, and the growing medium here is plastic. But again, it is not for sale because I cannot clean the liquid reservoir. What I want you to do is to take these existing designs, improve them if possible, and convert them into a two-piece system. Regarding the section between the growing medium container and the liquid reservoir, this is a very good example. In this pot, there is a central hole for the tube, along with multiple aeration holes. These allow air to pass through and also allow the roots to grow down into the liquid reservoir. As you can see here, the roots are reaching into the reservoir. This section can be redesigned. You can either create a central hole with multiple aeration holes, or design multiple holes in the structure to allow proper aeration. In your design, since it will be made in two pieces, we will be able to open it, clean the liquid reservoir, and refill it easily. Also, in the growing medium container, there should be at least one large hole or multiple holes for aeration. This is very important. These designs already exist in the market. They are very practical, very attractive, and there is strong demand for them. Speaking about the size of the growing medium container, as you can see, this is the one currently available on Etsy, and this one is smaller. This smaller one represents the minimum size for the growing medium container. Please do not go below this size, as it will make things very difficult and will compromise the health of the plant. So this is the minimum size for the growing medium container. I will also include the exact measurements in the measurement document. This is the medium-sized growing medium container. As you can see, these are coffee plants. Arabica coffee grown from seeds here in North London. This is why I used the word prototype before. but they are not prototypes. This setup is more than 3 years old. It is beautiful, successful, and the plants are thriving. However, it is not for sale on Etsy. The reason is not about how it looks. It is about availability and consistency. The growing medium container here is not suitable for production, and I cannot reliably supply Arabica coffee seeds, as they come from a special source. So even though it is successful, I cannot offer it for sale. This represents the maximum size for the growing medium container. I will also include the exact measurements in the measurement document. This size is suitable for larger plants and trees, such as magnolia, roses, olive trees, hydrangeas, and can be used both indoors and outdoors. This is the maximum size we will go to. Purpose of this video is not to restrict you or limit your creativity. On the contrary, I want you to be creative, to be inspired, and to explore new designs, new colors, and new materials. Feel free to innovate and bring your own ideas into the design. At the same time, it is very important that you follow the key points I have explained in this video. These are essential principles. If these points are not respected, the design will fail and will not be successful. So please, be creative and inspired, but at the same time, respect these fundamental rules.